Welcome back to Diary of a Speed Reader. Today's book is You Can't Touch My Hair by Phoebe Robinson, and I'm giving it 4 stars. I didn't know about Phoebe Robinson before I read this book, but she had me laughing so hard that I had to look this girl up. What a crazy, amazing rock star she is. I mean, she's written many episodes of Portlandia. She's got a movie out, What Men Want, and she's in it. It's got an all-star awesome cast. I mean, you gotta check out her book. This is gonna be a great beach read that also happens to address some pretty serious issues. I'm gonna give you 3 things that really spoke to me. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you, February is Black History Month. If you're looking at your bookshelf and it's not looking so diverse, that's really easy to fix. You can have a look at my list of books for this month. They're all 4 and 5 stars. I would absolutely recommend any of them. Now let's get into why I like this book so much. Now, the first thing she talks about is this concept of how the majority view of beauty kind of lays into the self-esteem of people that don't fit that view. And that's true in so many cases. She's a little bit younger than I am, but when I was growing up, I had that same issue because there just weren't any Asian people at all in the town that I grew up with. It wears on your self-esteem, and I love how she talks about her own journey and getting over that. And I think that that's a trend that's changing now. Today, there's much more acceptance of a diverse range of beauty and how we talk to each other, but it's still something that's real, and I think that makes this book super relatable. The second thing that she talks about is microaggressions, and this is a newer term. A lot of people are not familiar with it. They often think that it's just passive-aggressive. It is not. Microaggressions exist almost as a structural aspect to how people treat each other differently without even realizing it, and it wears and grates with every single day. So what you're really asking of those that are experiencing a continuous slot of microaggressions is this unbelievable confidence, unbelievable EQ, which is almost unrealistic. I love how she talks about it, her experience with it, and I think it really allows for a real conversation about the topic. We're all not going to be perfect in both our reaction to as well as our ability to stop from doing this. It's so structural in the psyche of society, but we should be able to talk about it. Full props. Now, the last thing really has to do with the way that she presents what I'm going to call the crappy decision tree of what to do when confronted with racism. And there's a couple of different instances, but I think my favorite is when she's in class and someone basically writes the most racist story I think I've ever heard. Wow. And she's trying to politely describe why maybe there's some misunderstandings in it, but she's getting attacked the entire time. It's pretty great as an illustration for someone to use to explain why people might have certain lack of EQ in one direction. Also, I think it articulates the very high level of EQ that you're requiring all minorities to have in dealing with daily sort of issues of this nature. So really good job at illustrating that. Now, I took off a star just because this is in a very tough comps category. I mean, Trevor Noah's in this category. But I would say that if you're having a class or a conversation about diversity and trying to get people to empathize and understand each other's point of view, this book definitely belongs in it. And it will have everybody rolling and laughing, which I think is going to be really important as we move through this period of history. Speed reading stats, this book is 286 pages. It took me 50 minutes to read. I highly recommend that you make sure to read the captions as well as the footnotes. She's funny. I mean, really funny. If you'd like to learn more about speed reading, I've got a link in my bio. Additionally, I'd like to thank the New York Public Library for having great books on e-reader. It is cold. I do not want to go outside, so very appreciated. Also, thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and otherwise supporting this effort. I will see you tomorrow.